Hello, welcome to Newbreed Film Reviews. I am your host this evening, Paul.
Dude, you sound sexy as hell.
Yeah, thank you. Tonight I have Brian and Dave with me.
What's going on?
Olas.
And just like last week, where we talked about Jurassic Park 2, and which one was The Lost World? The second one or the third one?
Second one.
Okay. So The Lost World, Jurassic Park, and then whatever the hell they decided to call that monstrosity of a sequel, Jurassic Park 3. This weekend, we did something rare. All three of us went and saw the same movie, so we're actually all three of us going to be able to do a review on this show, which I don't think that's happened yet since we started doing the podcast. Am I right?
No, I don't think so, no. No, not a brand new movie. We've all seen the same movie, but actually one that came out in theaters right away. This is the first that we've all done it at the same exact time.
Opening weekend, we all went and saw Jurassic World. And
we almost did that with Mad Max, but Paul was the only one that didn't see it.
Still haven't seen Mad Max or frickin' Avengers 2.
That's right, dude. Me and Brian, you gotta get on a ball, man.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm glad.
Matinee, Sunday.
You guys are going to find out why, but I'm glad that I chose to go see this movie. It's opening weekend. So, Brian, you and I went yesterday morning. We were the old people. we went for the first show, but it was sold out, so unfortunately we had to see it in 3D.
Yeah, can I just comment on that for a second?
Yeah.
I've come to a point in my life where, no longer is Friday night or Saturday night the going out to movie night. I feel freaking old. The fact that we went to a 10 o'clock in the morning movie.
Yeah.
And like
on
you had
Saturday.
said, 10 o'clock. Yep. We went to the 10 o'clock in the movie, and I was talking to Paul, and I was like, hey, no. Paul's like, we need to reserve tickets. I was like, no. We don't need to reserve tickets. I was like, at 10 a.m. Who's going to go at 10 a.m.? We show up, and the first movie sold out at 10 o'clock in the morning. Like, that's pretty impressive. So we had to go. We saw it in 3D, which we'll touch on that a little bit later.
It was sold out over here, too, dude. It made like $511 million over the weekend. Like, record breaking.
It's one of like the bigger grossing films of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about the movie in general, and then we'll go into spoilers. But we'll give you a heads up before we get into spoilers. So we'll just give you like our overall opinion, and then we'll kick it into spoilers halfway through. So no need to worry that you're going to get anything ruined. Just checking out the first part. You can exit if you want when we let you know, or you can listen to it all the way through if you've seen the movie with us. So, what is your guys' overall point of view on the movie? I personally, like we had talked about before, had really low expectations going into it, and I walked out with a freaking smile on my face. I walked out super excited about this film, and I think I'm going to own it, and it's jumped up there right next to the original Jurassic Park with me. It's not the status of the original Jurassic Park, but guess what? It's second in line for me as in the series.
Yeah, as far as the series go, I'm going to have to agree with you there.
Yep.
But Dave, go ahead. I know you have a lot to say on this.
Yeah, I got a little backstory, and I'm not going to rant, but I admittedly was a hater. But, I wasn't a full hater. I said that it was going to be mediocre. That was my prediction. And I mean, I don't think having that opinion initially was like that off, because think about it, it's the fourth one, and it's kind of a similar plot to the third, so I wasn't that crazy for thinking that. But you guys saw it. So for the people listening, Brian and Paul saw it first. They text me after, and they're like, dude, this shit was fucking awesome. Like, you gotta see it. They both started attacking me.
Word for word.
And I'm like, and I text them back, I'm like, you guys fucking with me? Like, are you serious? Cause Brian likes Bad Boys too. So, you guys, I don't know sometimes. And then, but you guys are like, no, you go see it with no expectations. Paul's telling me that. So I said, all right, fine. I'm going to go see it because I have to, because I've seen every other one. Why not? So I watch the movie, and I'm texting Paul and Brian, like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, all right, 1/4 in, so far so good. I'm like, halfway through, this shit's fucking awesome. 3/4 in, holy crap. I'm loving the whole movie. And not to rant, but I'm going to just piggyback on Brian. I'm going to say that total Jurassic Park feel to it. They nailed it. I felt like I was watching a true sequel. You can tell that it just wasn't just for the money, that fans made the movie, and it was respectful to the original. Tons of homage. I got more to say, but you guys can take over.
We have a whole show for that. I just want to say this. I went into it with a flat expectation. I really was hoping for a good movie, but I wasn't going to be surprised if the movie sucked. I went through watching the movie trying to pick something out that I was going to hate on. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't find a negative thing about this movie. I really can't. You know, from the plot
I would agree
line,
with you, Paul. I have to, if I was to say negatives, I would have to nitpick.
Right.
I would literally have to
It would
nitpick because there's nothing that's blatantly a negative for me personally watching it.
When you hear the log line for this movie, something about, you know, oh, another dinosaur gets loose, you know, and they genetically modified it, and you're like, this is going to be so full of just suck. But they pulled it off. They absolutely killed it with this movie. And if I'm going to give this movie a letter grade, I'm giving it an A, if not an A+.
Mm-hmm. Brian, you got something?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say there, I rate the movie, I would say like an A-, if you're going to go that way. I would rank it like high 8, 9. I really like the movie, but like I wouldn't put it up there with like, if Jurassic Park's like a 10 for me and like an A for me, I wouldn't put it as an A. So like a A-, B+, you know, if you're going to go that route with letter matching.
I'll definitely give it an A-. That's a fair thing to say because the original definitely passes it, but it's...
Yeah, the original for me was like perfection. That shit was like an A+, a 10, whatever you want to call it. If I can grade Jurassic World, and I got one thing that I would have liked to see in a movie, I guess, is nitpicking, and I'll mention that, but if I can letter grade it, I think there's two ways to grade it. As a standalone movie, if you've never seen Jurassic Park movies, and as a Jurassic Park sequel. So I'm going to combine both of those grades in my head, and I'm going to give it a B+. Like, if I didn't see any Jurassic Park movies, I'm going to say that I was entertained, and it would be less than a B+, to be honest. It'd be like a B. But like for a Jurassic Park sequel, B+. Like, it's almost an A for me. I really don't have complaints about it. The only complaint that I have is that we didn't get to see okay, that has to get that's spoilers. That's okay. That'll get edited out. You people didn't hear that because that was bleeped out. I'm sorry. But that's my only gripe.
Save that for the spoilers.
Silly things like that. But like Brian and Paul said, I went in, no expectations. I just cleared my mind. And it's funny because I recently saw Jurassic Park 1 on purpose. Right, like I was like, you know what? I'm going to rewatch this.
Yeah, me too. I recently watched it.
So I can catch all the little details in a movie. And like I said, you can tell that it was done with care and consideration for fans, and it was just well done. Total feel.
I honestly think that the director probably sat and watched the first movie like over and over and over and over again because he just nailed the vibe. He just completely nailed this movie was done in 93, and this director is making it right now almost off the top of my head.
Well, it came out 22 years to the day that the first
Exactly. I was going to say over 20 years ago, but he captured the vibe and he carried it over. It's got that same feel to it. It's not even, Steven Spielberg still as the producer in it, so he obviously had his hands into it, but it had the same chemistry, it had the same dynamic. It felt like a Jurassic Park movie.
All the way down to the cinematography on it. The lighting of it.
It felt like a Spielberg movie.
Spot on. Yes, it was definitely Spielberg-esque. The director, he killed it. And the funny thing is, that director just doesn't have many credits to his name, but he will after this.
Yeah, everybody's going to be on him.
He's going to be the new hottest director. Because
the writer, though, we talked about the writer, and the writer wrote for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and those movies, and Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which are critically acclaimed as far as script writing would go. So they grabbed a good screenwriter into play.
For sure. Husband and wife team. There was a couple not assistant writers, but co-writers as well. I think there was 2 more credited on there, but
definite Spielberg feel but it was different in a way. It was a Spielberg movie without the wonder and spectacle. It was more of an action Spielberg. Like
Yeah.
Jurassic Park 1 had like a wonder to it and a magic. I don't think this one had a wonder and magic, but it was a good feel. Like it definitely was unmistakably a Jurassic Park movie. Part 3 was just...
And they tell me the last scene has Spielberg all over it.
Dude,
like that's a Spielberg cinematography. That's a Spielberg movie.
Dude, not only that.
100%.
Yeah.
Not only that, dude, it was a full circle wrap up, like, compared to the original. Like, without spoiling it for people, because we're going to get into that section, it was just done so well. It was well thought out for the fans. Just a good movie. Just really good movie.
So, what do you guys think of Chris Pratt? You think he did a good job as being the main character, pulling all the way through?
Yeah, I think he played that character better than anybody. I was trying to actually go through and think of a different actor that could possibly play that role. And a lot of times that's already tough because that person, if it's a good actor, they become that character. But I know Dave really wants Tom Hardy to play that role, but he can't. he couldn't pull that off.
I think he could.
I think he could pull off a lot of roles, but I think that
matter of fact, him and Chris Pratt kind of look alike in a way. Same, like kind of similar build, like medium build. Like I could definitely see Hardy in that role.
So does every male actor in Hollywood.
You can see Hardy in every role, though.
See Hardy in your pants.
But it's not that hard of a role, though. To be honest,
no, it's not.
It's not about that, but it's the looks and it's the personality.
He brought his wit. Yeah, he brought his wit, and I like Chris Pratt. He kind of he's got like those quick little one-liners, which they kind of like make you laugh, and he's got like that. He's kind of like got that dry. He's got that dry humor that makes you laugh.
See,
and there was a lot of funniness. There's a lot of I didn't expect it. There's a lot of comedy. Like there's a lot of parts where I laughed in the movie.
I think Chris Pratt, he was definitely hulkier in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like in this movie, he applied humor, but it was kind of like badass humor. He really wasn't funny. He was more of a badass, and he just had like smart remarks and.
Yeah. He wasn't like a jokester. He was just like,
I just want to say, I watched a making of Jurassic World on HBO, like one of those like 10-minute little featurettes that they have on HBO today. And Chris Pratt was like a schoolgirl on set when he would think about the fact that he was doing a Jurassic Park movie and he would get so giddy. And that made me laugh because it made me think like if I was in that same position, I'd be the same way. Like, holy shit, I'm starring in a Jurassic Park movie. And he probably knew that it was going to be big and epic and awesome because he was there for it. So he knew that this wasn't going to be the letdown that the other two were. The ones that were just done for paychecks, basically.
Yes.
And what'd you guys think of Bryce Dallas Howard?
Who the hell is that?
The girl that made Claire.
Oh, okay.
Who?
The girl that played Claire.
The aunt.
Who's Claire?
The aunt.
The aunt.
That was Jessica Chastain.
No, it wasn't.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
What? That was Jessica Chastain, wasn't it?
No, that's from Mad Men, Jessica Chastain, right?
No, Jessica Chastain was in Interstellar. She's the redhead. She was in
Yep.
What else?
Unless IMDb has it wrong, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Wikipedia has it as the same, but they probably get their IMDb.
Dude, yes. She looks.
I'm gonna pull up a picture of Jessica.
She did play Murph in Interstellar. She did play his daughter.
That's not Jessica Chastain? What?
Yeah.
Dude, holy crap. They look a lot like to me.
No, that's not her.
Holy crap. What I think about her is she's effing hot. That's what I think. That chick is hot as hell. And Jessica Chastain's hot. So, man, no wonder I was like, she's blazing. Because I like Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, no, and I think, we'll talk about this later. I think she did a pretty good job, even in the middle of like an action, stupid kind of funny movie where like, not action, like strictly like you're running away from dinosaurs. I think she put good character development in herself from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
Very
just
true.
in the process of just like running away from dinosaurs escaping. You actually saw her character develop from the start to the end. So I thought she did a pretty good job.
I think it started, well, I can't really get into
I think
No, we'll go into
spoilers
detail,
yet, but
generalizations. I think it was pretty cool. I think she did a pretty good job, start to finish.
I think she had just a filler role, to be honest. I didn't think anything she did was like special. Like I just think she was like a very cliche character, like a person that starts off crappy. Like I don't know, like it was very cliche to me. Like I didn't think she didn't do anything special at all. She did okay. Chris Pratt, if you ask me, had a harder job because he was like the male lead. And if you're not believable and you just don't fit for that role, it's not going to work. And I wasn't, Chris Pratt, like, I was not sold on him till after this movie. Like, he was good in Guardians, but I was like, as him as an action star, like, as the new Indy, after seeing this movie, I totally see him as Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
me too.
Totally sold.
I agree with you.
I'm okay with it. Like I was pretty much okay with it before because I really did like him, but after this movie, like he pretty much was Indy in this movie, but minus actually being him. Like he had a lot of the same badassery and similar outfits exactly.
Just needed a whip. That's all he needed.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
Whip and a hat.
If the torch is being passed down from Harrison Ford to somebody, I think Chris Pratt's an acceptable replacement. As long as it's not Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And I like Shia, but not for that.
Vincent D'Onofrio, he did an awesome role.
Does he?
I liked him.
I liked him in it.
Not to
he did a good
because you can't
really
really
job.
say what his part is.
Yeah.
Can't say his place until we get in there, but I liked him. He's a good bad guy.
Yeah, he played a good bad guy for what for the scenes he was in, and he did good. He always does good.
He made me want to punch him in the face for sure.
Yeah, I think he does better on Law and Order, personally. That's my opinion. He does better as his character as on Law and Order
He's had
than
a
he
lot
did
of time to
this
develop
character.
that character.
Yeah, that's true.
Something else like a pro on the movie, which I don't really think is a spoiler. I don't think it is, but I like the sense of danger in the movie. Like, it wasn't a kiddie movie. Like when people die, you're watching a dinosaur movie where people were in danger. Like when people got eaten, they got eaten. Like, it was. I wasn't sure if it was PG-13 or R at some points, but it was.
Yeah,
done.
I was questioning when can we do spoilers. I'm so anxious to start talking about like in depth on this movie, not just what we thought.
No, well, I mean, there's people that might cut out right now. So, Paul, you got anything else to say before we get into spoilers? They should go watch the movie.
They should definitely go watch this movie. I can't wait for this movie to come out on Blu-ray. I will own it, and I will watch every special feature on it and watch. It's going to be up there in my collection for sure.
Yeah.
Me too. I agree.
I got a few.
You got anything else, Dave?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I have, really for the sporter section, I have one big thing to touch on, which I thought was amazing, and I'm just going to wait. For the non-sporter section, I'm just going to say that, I'm going to add further that the plot, the script, I kind of pieced together what was happening from the trailer and some of the photos, like major plot points, which I'm not going to really talk about. But there was a twist in the movie that got me. And when we get into the sporter section, I guess that'll be the cat will be out of the bag for that one. What else I want to add in a non-spoiler? Just if you haven't seen it, it's worth a ticket. Go check it out. You're not going to be disappointed. I give it a B+, and I will own it. Maybe not right when it comes out for $25 on Blu-ray.
No.
But I'll get it for like a cool 19 or $15. So, yeah.
It's like $14.99. It's got my name all over it.
Yeah. I haven't spent $25 on any DVD in my entire life.
Oh, well, Paul, me and you can both speak to the fact that don't bother to go see the movie in 3D. I mean, It's got cool aspects. I'll touch on one of them. That was a really cool scene where they really used 3D in a cool way, but otherwise the movie's not really, it's not really
unless you're getting it for the same price.
Even then, 3D's not a huge spectacle for the movie. The one scene, which I'll talk about when we get into spoilers, is cool to see in 3D. But otherwise, I would see it in regular 2D.
Agreed.
All right, so we're going to go right into spoilers now. If you guys want to stay with us, check us out. We're going to talk about the really nitty-gritty details of the film. Otherwise, now you can hop off and come back and give us a listen after you go check out the movie in theaters. So we'll give you a countdown, and then we'll get right into spoilers.
So which one of you guys want to kick off the spoiler section?
Go for it.
I guess I just want to kind of throw it out there to you guys, and I think the first thing I want to touch on, like we talked about initially when we were did the Jurassic Park episode, the part that I was so excited about with going to see the film was to see the park open, you know, and to see like all the attractions and to see like how they did everything and stuff like that. So, what was your guys' favorite part of Jurassic World? You know, like the attractions wise. Like, what was your favorite attraction, or what one did you think was like that's pretty cool?
I think I cannot remember its name, but the giant swimming
crocodilian looking dino.
Oh my god!
That shit was
it wasn't even
ridiculous.
so much. It wasn't even so much the sheer size and like how awesome it was. We saw that over and over again in the trailer, but it's when they're sitting in the bleachers, and again, people, this is spoilers. So, but when they're sitting in the bleachers, right? They, that thing jumps up, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," and then the whole bleachers drop down.
Yeah, that was pretty
and you're
sweet.
looking through that glass at this thing, and you're just like, wow, this thing is freaking massive. And even the older kid, that was his turning point. That was when he was like, all right, there's something cool here.
Yeah.
And then it's...
Yeah, that was the coolest part as far as, like, the park being functional. To be honest, like, I wasn't excited about seeing a functional park because I thought we saw that in part 1. Because like they got in the Jeep and they were going through the park. Like
not about it being functional, but about being open, to the public.
I guess
like, it's been years.
Yeah, but I mean,
if I want to see a crowd of people, I'll just go to Six Flags over here in real life.
You're telling me that you didn't think in your head the gyroscope thing where you can go out into the fields and go around all the dinosaurs on your own was really cool.
It was okay because like what's the difference between that and a Jeep?
Everything.
You can control it yourself and you can cruise through the dinosaurs. You're not on this track that goes through fenced-in areas.
Well, they kind of were. They kind of were. It was just a bigger track because they couldn't veer into like restricted parts. Like those kids they chose to go through the restricted part. So like you were in like this sphere thing and you're like right into like a field until the end. Like that's just like like okay, they're in a sci-fi looking sphere thing. I wasn't really impressed by that. I mean, you could replace that with a Jeep, and I would have been like, that's kind of cool still, but I guess,
the sphere thing better because you can get more up close and personal. Like, first of all, you can see a lot more.
Oh, no, you can't. You saw what the Indominus Rex did?
Well, if the Indominus was legit, then yeah, obviously not. Look what the T-Rex did to those Jeeps in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thought process, all right? So if I really wanted the full experience to go like an African safari, do I want to go to a zoo and sit in a Jeep outside of the fence and look through at the cheetahs? Or do I want to go in one of those fenced-in back of the trucks where the cheetah comes up to the truck? If I want the full experience.
Well, okay, why can't you have... You're breaking up a little bit.
Jurassic World.
You're breaking up a little bit, Bryce. Say that again?
Cut off. So, did you hear the part, like, as far as I'd rather sit in the back of the Jeep with the fenced in for the cheetah as opposed to outside of the fence? Okay. Yeah. That's it. That's all I had.
Yeah, dude, but that's an unfair example because, like, okay, so the sphere thing had, like, a bulletproof, like, casing and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So why can't you have a Jeep with a glass casing around it?
Because the gyroscope is cooler.
That's it, man.
I guess. I mean, you can have a Jeep and roam around. I don't know. I guess I wasn't really that impressed. I just felt like they threw it in there just to have it be a 2015 movie. Like, oh, it's like high tech, Jurassic Park high tech. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, the whole park opening thing really didn't really like.
That was one of my favorite. That was one of my honestly favorite things going in. Like, I was more excited about kind of seeing the park open and seeing how it's like working and everything.
Mm-hmm. You know what, not to go off topic, but you know what I thought was an amazing aspect of the script? And I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but I thought this was like genius. So if you think back to the original Jurassic Park, it was very ahead of its time, and people were like, wow, we're seeing dinosaurs like brought to life. And then you had a lot of paleontologists saying, wrong. Those dinosaurs are not accurate. So you had people bitching, and they were bitching about the second movie. They were bitching about the third movie. So what did they do in this movie? They made it their point to blatantly throw it out there and say, like, they made it like an argument in the movie and made it a part of the script. When Wu said, no, if these were accurate dinosaurs, they wouldn't even look like this. You
Right.
forget we spliced them with frog DNA. That was genius to me because that just shut everybody up.
That's true.
Like
Except
when
for
you think about
Indominus, which is spliced with like 5 DNAs.
right,
Yeah.
but I thought it was like genius how like they mixed that into the plot and that just shuts down all the people who bitch about Jurassic Park. Like when you think about it, their genome wasn't complete and they used frog DNA, so of course they're gonna look more reptilian and no feathers.
That's
So,
like in the
that was
book
really
too.
cool.
In the book, they wanted he wanted to change that character, Dr. Wu. He wanted to change the dinosaurs more to like either he initially wanted them more ferocious or more in a spectacle. So initially, from the first movie and from the book, they kind of established that point of like we're making the dinosaurs to look the way we want them to and to act the way we want them to. We're not making dinosaurs to be dinosaurs, which the first movies didn't really hit. But this,
Right,
you're right.
The first movie, I feel like they really softened Dr. Wu. Like, they made him just seem like, the lead scientist, but not like, oh, I'm going to be an evil man. And turns out he's got an ulterior motive. And
But yeah, so good leeway. So I guess they left the movie open to a sequel, right? Dr. Wu kind of took off and could be making military dinosaurs,
I don't know if they'll go that route, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to sound like a hater, and I'm going to sound, just like I did with this movie until I saw it. I personally, I don't want to see Jurassic Park go the route of like total crazy sci-fi. I don't want to see cybernetic dinos and weaponized, and I really don't want to see that. I don't care to see that.
Right.
Like, I don't even know if they should make another one. Like, and if they do make another one, how are they going to tell the story without making it go to the weaponized dino route? Because they're already leaning towards that, and it's like, do you guys really want to see that? Like raptors with like eye implant things and like helmets and
Not at all. I didn't like seeing the raptors in their little muzzles here. Like that actually made me sad.
I think they should leave well enough alone. Like they did amazing, but the movie's gonna make so much money that the Hollywood's gonna try to dig at them to make them.
Yeah, I'm hoping someone in Hollywood realizes that they can leave this franchise at a high point rather than the shitty low point that they were at with, JP3. They can leave it at the high point that it is now with this movie, and everyone's going to be more than happy. And someone's got to realize that if they were to come out with another one, chances are they're not going to be able to recapture that same thing. They're not going to make the money. If another one comes out, I'm not going to see it. I'm not. I don't have any interest in another Jurassic Park movie. I've got my closure. I'm happy. Leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm on the same page, Paul. I think they should leave it, wrapped up. What I think what made this one successful, it was like a victim of like circumstance in a positive way. Cause the last one was so fucking shitty that this one couldn't possibly be worse.
That's true.
So like we all had low expectations, like this is gonna suck, and then we go see it and it's good. So like
really good.
That's fun. The funny part, like to touch on that, Dave, everybody on Facebook and stuff like that's like hit me up like, is it really good? Like I don't think anybody had the expectation that the movie was going to be like, everybody had the expectation the movie was going to be like, okay, yeah, hey, it's another Jurassic Park movie. Yeah. But nobody had the expectation like, yeah, I'm going to go see it. Like, I really want to go check out that movie. Everybody had that like, oh yeah, I'll check it out. And now everyone's like, was it really good? Like, was it really worth seeing? So.
Right. It was because of 2 and 3, dude. They were just made for money. More so 3. 2, they had good intentions, but it just was poorly done.
They tried with 2. You could tell they tried with 2. Mm-hmm. With 3, they just were like, let's make another Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah. One thing I want to bring up is the one plot twist that got me. Like, and I'm usually pretty good with predicting stuff, but that's not gonna stop me from seeing a movie. So with this one, you guys know, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna use the raptors to hunt the Indominus and blah blah. There's a few things that I just called out, right? So I'm watching the movie, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, I got this shit figured out. When the little raptors go up to the Indominus, I'm like, oh, they're about to just go out on this dude right now, like just attack him. They're sitting there going, like whatever the hell noises they do, and I'm like,
and that's when it clicks for you.
That's what, it clicked for me too, and I was like,
we were all like, oh
shit.
no.
I was like,
that is a big fucking raptor.
Yep, dude. It took a little while for it to sink in, but when I saw them communicating, I was like, holy shit. Like, don't tell me. And he was a big alpha raptor.
So you take the size of a T-Rex, you have the intelligence of a raptor and the violence of the raptor, and then you have the camouflage of some fish. I don't remember what they call
Cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish.
Mm-hmm.
This thing literally can change its colors to blend in with the environment. So you have pretty much the worst thing you can imagine. And
you had the thermal control of like a frog. Like
right.
It actually controlled its temperature.
Yep. Not only did it control its temperature, but it was like a snake, how it sensed thermal heat. And all that. I mean, it didn't use its tongue, but its heat, or sensed its prey. You can't get worse than that. That is one of the most terrifying things I've ever even heard. It's like they sat down in a room and they were like, hey, what's the most terrifying shit we can come up with for this dinosaur? I know, let's take all of this and do it.
I'm gonna give Dr. Wu a little golf clap right here. He made an impressive best predator that he possibly could have out of dinosaurs.
Yep.
Dude, the Indominus is ridiculous. And what I think made it so scary was that, we seen a big predator in the T-Rex. So like, just cause it was big and it had a big mouth, that wasn't the scary part. It was like its intelligence and also its fucking arms. That shit had like human hands, like arms that it was like scooping people up. And,
had like raptor arms. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was nuts. So, that plot twist, it got me. I was very pleasantly surprised with that.
What do you guys think? Okay. What do you want to touch on?
No, I was gonna say something else, like what you guys thought about this, and I touched on it before. The gore. I mean, it was implied gore. They showed people getting ripped up, but like they didn't fully show it, but you saw the gist of it, like bodies get ripped in half.
Yeah, I mean, they show people getting their heads bitten off, essentially.
Dude, I was like, fuck yes. Like, I don't want no watered down Jurassic Park movie.
Right.
Like, show me some danger.
Yeah.
Yep. No, they did it, and they did it tastefully too. You know, like they would do like blood splatter off screen and stuff.
As tastefully as you can make people getting devoured by dinosaurs.
Well, I mean, they didn't, like David said, they didn't do gore. Like they showed dinosaurs eating people, but they didn't like make it gore.
Guts or anything.
Like one of the
Nobody's
goriest
getting ripped in half. You know, like
one dude did.
Yeah.
The guy definitely did.
They showed him get shaked and like his torso ripped. But to be honest, the goriest part for me was the Indominus picked up one dude, and I don't know if you guys remember this scene, but it was a cool shot. He picked him up like over the tree line, and you see like the leaves in the sun, and you hear like a crunch and like all the blood come down over the leaves and like pitter patter on them.
I don't know.
And it was a real quick shot, but it was just gruesome looking. Like,
you know what was gruesome for me was the woman who got picked up by one of the
babysitter,
the flying birds. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So then, like, the dinosaur just keeps, like, bringing her underwater, bringing her back up, bringing her underwater, bringing her back up, and then they both die because the giant underwater dinosaur takes them both out. Yeah.
That was the coolest 3D part, you know, to touch on that because it comes, like, out of the screen at you and
so
it eats them.
Violent.
Yeah, that was a cool 3D part. That whole scene, though, like, with all the birds, pterodactyls flying down, that was the coolest 3D part. But I'm just saying, like, in 3D watching it, they did that right. Yeah. That was the cool 3D part of the movie.
It was chaotic. I mean, I understand they needed a filler scene, but I was like,
That's the best way to describe this movie it is just so much chaos, but it's organized chaos. It's done in a way that makes you be like, holy shit, but like you're able to watch it.
My boy Blue. Blue's that dude.
Yeah.
Blue's that dude. Blue is the new iconic dinosaur.
Yeah. What'd you guys think initially from watching the trailer? We all talked about this. We thought it was going to be cheesy with him like training the raptors and stuff like that. How do you think that they executed it in the movie? I think they did a pretty good job.
Cheesy, dude.
I thought so.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be cheesy. I hated that concept. I believe you can go back and listen to the last episode where I said that I didn't like that.
Yeah, you didn't like that.
No.
I was defending it. I said, I think it would be kind of cool because remember, like, we were touching on it and, like, you know, yeah, you was kind of hating on that part.
Mm-hmm. But I do
remember that.
I think that they wrote it very well. I think that they completely eliminated the cheese factor on it. I think that it worked out where you weren't like, this is no way, because they basically explain it that, you know, this is, you know, these dinosaurs were bred for this. They were, you know, he's had them since they were eggs. Like he's shown them I'm the boss kind of thing. Like it's totally logical because they're super intelligent.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is that when you really think about it, it's not that far out there with sci-fi because people do it with wolves and bears now.
Yeah.
And lions.
You know what I mean? They do it now. Like you have, like Brian said, lion tamers and people, and they're like the alpha and they listen to them.
Right.
So like you know, raptors do it. I'll buy it. Like, you know.
And they actually make you care about the raptors. The first three movies, all that they talk about is the raptors. Like the raptors are always the star of these movies. But they're always talking about how violent and bad and negative and they make you, they're the bad guy in the movie. They're the antagonist.
Yeah. And I'm the T-Rex.
And this movie, you know, there's parts where you think, okay, this is going to go the same route that the other ones did. There's a part where you're like, oh, Chris Pratt's done. He's done. Because of these raptors, like they're turning on him. You know, this giant alpha is like, you know, telling them to attack. And now
he had like that cool kind of like, you know, communication with them the whole movie.
He had that real emotional attachment.
Connection. Yeah, like what he said. I mean, I think he said the line in the movie. He said it's a personal connection that let me train these people. Or let me train these raptors. You know, like you can train anything as long as you keep a personal connection in there.
Dude, I felt so bad, like kind of off topic, but like the worst victim, like where I actually felt bad for the dude was the fat security guard dude. Mm-hmm. And he was like hiding in front of the Jeep. Dude, he was done. He was so done. When he saw the tail, and it's like, you don't realize that it's around the other side looking at you.
That's a big dinosaur.
Like that's a big dinosaur. If you're looking at the tail, the head is looking at you.
Yeah.
And then like I was like, oh my God, dude, you're done. And then it just flips the Jeep over and chomps him. I was like, oh my God.
Dude,
like,
he's one of those people that like, you know, like when you see that fat, like sloppy looking guy, you're like, okay, he's done. You know, in like a horror movie, like he's done.
Yeah. I felt so bad for him.
Chris Pratt was smart though to pour the oil all over himself to like kind of like get the scent off him. That was a smart call.
Was that like brake fluid?
Yeah.
Brake fluid. Yeah. No.
Yep. I think it was oil. I think it was gas.
It was gas. Yeah.
Cut the gas line and pour it all over himself.
Dude, but it looked kind of thick to be gas. It was like oily looking. It may have been transmission fluid or brake fluid.
It was some kind of mechanical fluid.
Yeah, I mean, he threw the scent off, which was smart.
Yeah.
So, did you guys, when the Brontosauri were all down, you know, when he's like, oh, they're hunting for sport, dude, when that thing was dying, that was sad.
It made me think of the Triceratops in the first one.
Yeah,
they
but the Triceratops was potentially coming back. It wasn't attacked. It was just eating poisonous berries. You know, this thing was attacked, and then it dies, and it's like, oh my God, like, that's so fucking sad. And then they stand up, and there's a whole bunch of them just laying in the field. Mm-hmm. And it's just like...
Yeah, it was, I thought it was a very, they try to recapture the Triceratops moment, to me anyway. Like, it had the same feel where, like, you're touching it, and you're like...
Because they use actual animatronics for it.
Yeah. Well, and like the feel of it, you know, like, he really respected the animal, and... It's just a beautiful creature, and like it's just like dying. It was kind of messed up. freaking
It kind of gives
okay,
you that personal connection, like you had said with the Triceratops
yeah,
with the first movie. It gives you that. That's the first dinosaur that they really get to touch.
Paul,
you know,
Paul, I think the term is Vegisaurus, sir.
Vegisaurus.
Vegisaurus.
Vegisaur.
It's a Vegisaurus. Remember the kid from the first one?
Yep.
Okay, what do you guys think about all the little
the homage to the
tidbits here and there?
Caught every one of them, man. And I was
the goggles.
goggles.
The Jeep.
The Jeeps, like that. How do you, like, there's like,
Goosebumps,
look at
dude.
these. The mural on the wall.
When the
Yes, with the
That
shadow.
the raptor hides in front of in the first
I have
one.
to say though,
Yes.
I was gonna say, the raptor when he walks in, and it was cool just having the visitor center. And you saw in the visitor center, like he jumps over the T-Rex's like skull,
Yeah.
but like when they run away from the Indominus Rex in the visitor center, he jumps over the T-Rex's like skull that's sitting on the floor. The one that was like initially in the center of the main visitor center.
Yeah.
Would have
But
been
the
cool if they
T-Rex-
found all those ice cream tubs that were left out from the first one.
Yeah. The T-Rex apparently, I didn't see it, but I was reading up after the movie, and apparently the T-Rex broke through Spinosaurus bones at one point.
Yeah.
Like, remember the big dino in part 3 that killed the juvenile? Like, it was almost like a weird, like, FU part 3, and like it just busted through the skeleton. I think I remember that's when they first released it, and then it busted through that whole, I was gonna say town, but like the main center of the visitor, area, the new one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this. Can I bring something up?
Bring up whatever you want.
How fucking badass. Okay, like, before I saw this movie, how many times I was saying this shit to you guys? I'm like, I'm fucking mad that the T-Rex got beat because, like, the T-Rex fanboy in me.
You got punked
Dude,
out.
I was so mad. And I'm like, they better make the T-Rex win.
That's actually on record. That is on record. You have it last week. And I looked at Brian after that happened. I was like, oh, they've called it.
Yeah.
Dude, I said, they better have it win some way. And you know what? They did it well because they didn't have it flat out win because it was getting beat.
Yeah, well,
and it had a little bit of help. So I thought it was so cool how they had like old school beating new school.
Yeah.
And it was like, yo, let's gang up on this MF. Like, this is like it was weird, like a connection between the Raptor and the T-Rex. Like, this thing is like not one of them. It's almost like an abomination.
It's like it's their, they've all developed together in this new ecosystem, and this new thing was introduced, and they're like, it doesn't belong.
It's not real.
It's moving in on all of our territory.
Yeah.
It's doing all this stuff, and I don't care. They don't care about the people, obviously. Like, they don't want the people there, but it's part of their ecosystem now too. But this thing is not. So yeah, when they teamed up like that,
dude, I was like,
that
hyped.
ending scene. Oh my god,
dude,
sick.
So when the raptors are like attacking, and the kid says there's not enough teeth, and then the aunts, Claire, is like, hold on, I'll be right back, dude. I had a smile on my face from that point because I was like, I know what she's going to do. I knew what she's going to do. And then, like, dude, she opens the gate and she has that flare, dude, and she's running with it, and that big ass T-Rex starts coming down after that.
It brings you back.
Yep.
They did such a good job reproducing that T-Rex too.
Yeah.
Yep, brings you right back to, and call me crazy, but it looked older. It looked aged a little bit, like a little thinner, and it looked like aged to me. Maybe I'm crazy, but they did a good job with it.
I got goosebumps, man. I can't even lie.
Me too,
I got
dude.
goosebumps when I saw that. That was like
the flare got me. The flare got me because it brought me right back to Grant with the flare. I was like, oh my god.
Well, they did that earlier in the movie. They did that when they were feeding it. Like, they figured out from the first ones, because in the very first movie they try and feed the goat and he just doesn't come out. But in this one, they put the goat out there and then they light a flare to get this thing's attention. It's almost like they trained it that way, or they just know now how to get its attention.
They're like, we've discovered that the T-Rex has ADHD and responds to bright lights.
Here you go. Here's a flare. Eat that.
Yeah.
Here's a flare. Eat that.
Yep. Here you go. Follow this. Yeah, dude. So awesome.
And it's cool,
then how about
they have that mutual respect where they kind of like look at each other.
Yeah.
At the end, and
the
they're
Raptor's like, I
they
got
both just
you.
walk away. Yeah.
And T-Rex is like, you did.
We're
and then
good.
he just let him live.
All right.
Yep.
Good.
And then
Go ahead. I'll eat you tomorrow.
Blue comes over. Yeah. Blue comes over. He looks at Chris Pratt, and Chris Pratt's like shakes his head like no, and then he kind of like takes off. So he doesn't like come up to them.
Yeah. it was done so well, dude. And in the very, very end, okay, Jurassic Park 1, the T-Rex roars.
Mm.
And it's like, that wraps it up, and it's so iconic looking, and they had the banner in it. Did you guys pick up that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that was on
They
the
use
floor.
it as a torch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the end of this one, again, you got the T-Rex roaring across the landscape.
Oh my
It was
God.
so well done.
Dude,
like,
that ending, that's where, when I was saying earlier, like I got my closure, that was the closure. This thing walks out onto the helipad, it just overlooks the sunset, and it's just like, this is my world. And lets out that roar, and it was just like, such a strong thing for a CG character to make. Like, such a strong statement, but it was so well done. They just closed out that movie perfectly.
can I ask you guys something? What did you guys honestly think about the special effects?
Honestly, in the very beginning, the first special effect I thought I saw, it was a bird walking in the snow, and I saw the foot, and I was like, that's so cheesy. Like, that, if that's what this is going to look like throughout the whole thing, thinking it's like a dinosaur foot or something. And then they back out, and I realized it's a real bird. It wasn't even a CG bird. Like, I was like, oh, okay. So the real thing looked pretty cheesy. And then when I saw the actual special effects, I thought it was great. I thought they were like the original, maybe a little bit cleaner than the original, but.
Right. I'm sorry, you done, Paul?
Yeah, I'm done.
So my thought process on it is, it wasn't blatant to the fact of where it caught my attention to me saying like, okay, this isn't like great special effects, but like didn't like, I know that they tried to use some practical effects, like the close-up shots and stuff like that for some of the scenes, and I think that they did a really good job with the CG, but I wasn't like blown away, like with the raptors and stuff like that. My own personal opinion is, yes, it was very good, and it was acceptable to me, and I just kind of rolled with it, and nothing stuck out to me as being like blatantly bad looking, but I wasn't completely blown away by the CG effects on the dinosaurs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I'm kind of on the same page as you, Bri. And I guess you too, you also, Paul. I expected more, but that doesn't mean that it was bad. It was acceptable. You know, at times, okay, when Chris Pratt was running with them through the night and it was night vision, that looked cool. But some scenes where they were running look a little suspect. I mean, I'm not going to say bad, but you can tell it was CGI. Whenever they use animatronics, which you can kind of tell when they did, it looked great. It looked like Jurassic Park 1.
Yeah.
Like with the Brontosaurus, and when the Indominus Rex comes down to the truck, like that's, you know, that's not CG, that's like
when
animatronics.
The raptors are in their muzzles, like those steel muzzles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? We could be wrong. Imagine if that was CGI.
If it was good then. Yeah.
That was damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm with you, Paul. I think that was possibly animatronics.
Me too.
I'm gonna go on record, and I may sound crazy for this, but the first opening scene when you see the Brontosaurus or Brachiosaurus in Jurassic Park 1, it does look dated. That CGI just does look dated, but overall, effects-wise, I do think Jurassic Park 1 was better, and maybe not like shot for shot compared to now, but it's like having a 2015 Accord compared to a 1985 Ferrari.
Well,
even though the Ferrari's 85 it was cutting edge for its time and it still holds up. So like Jurassic Park 1 was like nothing was spared. Like they went all out. This one was like
no expense. Yeah. In all fairness, though, in the first one, there was only 13 minutes total of dinosaur, and how much of that was actually CG and how much of that was practical. Because if you remember, the raptors in the first one was pretty much guys in suits, except in a few select scenes where they used CG. The T-Rex, when he was running, was CG, but when he was standing there, it was always practical. Like, that was a life-size T-Rex that they had.
Dude, but when they went in the kitchen, that was CG. When it snapped up at her, when she was like climbing up through the ceiling tiles, that was CG.
Not only was that CG,
there was a lot of
those,
CG,
but her face was replaced. That was the stunt girl who fell through, and they replaced her face completely. She wasn't supposed to look up at the camera. She was supposed to just keep looking down, like, oh no, we're about to get eaten by some vicious dinosaurs. And she accidentally looked up. They used the take, and it was like the first time that they digitally swapped somebody's face.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the new one maybe it is better at some points, but I think like pound for pound, if you want to compare, I guess the effort and like what was accomplished for its time, I don't think this was cutting edge.
This wasn't cutting edge or groundbreaking. This is stuff that a lot of people can probably do at their own house at this point. However, it's 22 years after the first one was made, so they wouldn't be able to do this stuff if that first one wasn't made. Half of this stuff wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that first movie.
I think I agree with you. If I were to compare the two of them, like you had said, the Brontosaurus. Wow, I can't say any dinosaurs on this podcast.
Just Vegisaurus.
Yeah.
Vegisaurus.
And that's dated, but like I don't think the T-Rex and the Raptor scenes are too much dated.
No.
If you look at them,
they hold up.
They
man.
do.
They hold up. When I watch JP1, I feel like I'm watching dinosaurs.
Yes.
That says so much about that movie.
And I think, and with this one, I didn't feel like I felt like I was watching like CG dinosaurs or like cartoon, like the Raptors.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't, comparing the Raptors strictly to one another, I think they could have went more, actual animatronics instead of, they relied, I think, a lot on CG.
The Raptors didn't bother me so much as the Pteranodons did, the flying dinosaurs.
Yeah, those things looked really weird, like are really CG. They had no option.
They were
with
okay
that.
to me.
Yeah, they were.
You know what looked really CG? The final battle between the T-Rex and Dominus and the Raptor. Like, it looked kind of like, I don't know, the movements were a little too quick. Like the Raptor jumping on his back and like getting knocked off real quick. It looked cartoony a little bit.
I was too into it to catch on to that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, they were swirling around like a tornado of a fight, and it looked a little cartoony, but it was fun. It was fun. I got nothing else, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty much tapped out on it. Just Brian.
Yeah, so I think that if you think about Jurassic Park like as a series, and you think about like a science fiction movie, I think the best and the most successful science fiction movies are ones that are actually able to be possible. Like ones that could be done and could be recreated and could be really happening. And each time that you see these Jurassic Park movies, you really start to think in your mind, like we had this conversation last time, that this could be possible. Like they really could make dinosaurs if they really got a hold of their DNA. And if scientists really took their time and really did it, we could have a raptor hanging around somewhere, or Tyrannosaurus Rex, or in 100 years from now or 50 years from now, they could be having a Jurassic Park just like this. And guess what?
Dude, I'm pretty, not to cut you off, I'm pretty certain they've tried it.
Oh.
There's some bunker from when Jurassic Park 1 came out and that bug was even thrown out there, and the news is asking, like, the media's like, can we actually do this? And they had people debunking it. I'm sure, like, there's people out there that that are bored with a shitload of money that tried it. Who knows? Maybe there's raptors somewhere right now.
I hope not.
I hope not. But
unless Chris Pratt's going to be training them, I don't want.
But I think that's what I think catches everyone's attention. It is an entertaining movie, but I think the science fiction side of it, for you to say like dinosaurs could be really, really created, and we could really have a theme park where we'd be able to go see them. And I think this kind of movie captures the essence, and the first one does, and it just gives you that feel of like this could be happening. Like the Matrix is a little far out there, but it's possible. And Terminator is a little far out there, but it's possible that all that stuff could happen.
The only thing far about Terminator's time travel, dude. Everything else is going to happen. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind there's going to be AI.
There already is
That's
AI.
true. Yes,
yeah, but like on that level.
Sophisticated AI.
I think that's it.
I firmly believe that.
So much for not being able to fill up a 30-minute spot, huh? We did almost an hour show.
A lot of ranting.
He called you to the carpet, Dave. He just called you to the carpet.
Hey, you know what? We dragged it out.
We didn't drag. I think we did.
We dragged it out, dude. We ranted.
And that's what this movie needed, was that. We needed to let the people know. People, go see this movie.
I'll put it to you like this. If we didn't have a spoiler section, we would have been done a long time ago.
Yeah.
Was it a good movie? Yeah. What do you grade it? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, it was just like part 1. Go see it.
But that's
Click.
But that's why these reviews have spoiler sections. So people, go see it. If you like it, let us know. If you don't like it, let us know and tell us why. I'd be curious to hear from somebody who doesn't actually like it.
I actually was talking to one of the guys at my church today. There's a couple of them that went to go see it, and Max went to go check it out with his wife, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, it was awesome," you know. And and a couple of the people I went to go see, they said it was great. But one kid I was talking to, and he's like, "Dude, he was like, it was cheesy." He's like, "It wasn't good at all." I was like,
did he actually watch it?
Yeah, I looked at him straight in the face. I was like, "What?" Like, I was like, "Did you, like, were you paying attention?" And I was like, and those are the same conversation that we go back to. I was talking to Max about it. It's his buddy. And I was saying, like, you know, those are the people that I ask, okay, what's your favorite movie? Because I need to find out what your level of what's a grade A movie to you, and then I can really justify myself as far as taking you as movie knowledge. But if everybody else in the world right now, at least a good 80% of the people that have gone to see the movie have really highly rated it, like you're one of the people that said it was cheesy, like I can't agree with that. I had the conversation with him today at lunch. I disagree with them.
Did he say what movie was his favorite?
No, he didn't. But I was talking to Max, and Max said that he likes really odd movies. So
yeah, some people are just like that. I know a dude like that.
Like we had said, if Jurassic Park's not at the top of your list of all-time favorite movies, then I can't trust you as movie knowledge. I can't trust your opinion. You know, initial Jurassic Park.
On Rotten Tomatoes so far, it's gotten a 70% from the tomato meter, but an audience score of 86%. That's not bad. That means a lot of people really enjoyed this movie. So,
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it more because I've seen the other ones and I'm a big fan of the first. As like a standalone movie, if I were to watch it, would I ever seen another Jurassic Park?
No, I don't think it would work.
I would still find it entertaining, but I enjoyed it more because I've seen the first one. I'm such a big fan, so. But I don't know, guys. So what do you think?
I think that's episode 37.
All right.
So hit us up on Twitter at Newbreed Film.
Yep. Email Newbreed Film Reviews 2014 at Gmail, and
we're also
subscribe on.
Yep, we're also
Podomatic.
On Facebook. You can hit us up, Newbreed Film Reviews, and we're on iTunes, Podomatic, a ton of different kind of platforms.
Yeah, you'll find us out there. All right, guys. Catch you back for 38.
Yes.
All right. See you later.
Have a good night.